Hi, I'm Ned, and I've started streaming. This is a recording from my live stream over on twitch.tv/NedMakesGames. I'm live most Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. US Eastern Time. I'd love to see you there. Alright, hey everybody. Hope you've all had a great couple of days. It's been pretty good for me. Yeah, just been pretty busy actually. Busy start of the year, but okay, let's work on some grass. That's always relaxing. So last stream, I kind of ended abruptly because I was having internet issues, but the gist of it was I was trying to just finish up this fragment lit grass, and off stream I was able to get it working. So the difference between this grass and what we had before is that every pixel on the grass is lit individually. So it allows us to apply normal maps and specular highlighting and things like that. So if I open up the material, you can really see the specular highlights if I turn them off. Kind of a subtle effect. I'd like to make them a little stronger because what I really want to do is have, you know, like rippling grass in the wind that and then the shines kind of come in waves. That's kind of like my goal for this. But I don't think the way that I've set up the wind here really would work. I'd probably have to change like the angle so we can see if I can get that. But let's actually test translucency. To do that, I need to change the sun direction. Okay, so it needs to go the other way. Okay, so you can kind of see from here. So the sun is shining straight through the grass, so you get a little bit of shine. I can really tell on those ones up on the hill. I could probably make it a little bit more like, so if I turn off the thinness, that's basically the subsurface scattering. So when you turn that down, the effect goes away. And then the scattering makes it look a little bit more realistic. Okay, it's like reflections. Oh yeah, and then also the smoothness applies to it as well. So if I make it more smooth, then the subsurface scattering is a bit more focused as well. But I always thought that was a cool effect. It's always funny when the sun is like below the earth. You can like there's no shadows with the subsurface really, so you can still see the lighting of the sun as it passes below. But I don't know, if you're trying to do an actual system with this, you'd probably just turn off the sun at a certain point and then have a separate moon that then becomes the main light. Okay, but anyway, yeah. Kind of wanted to test it, but I'm not going to do too much with the actual lighting algorithm. Let's see. So if I want to try to test the kind of with that wind effect, what I need to do, maybe change the wind direction so it's nearly parallel with our view, so it would go in the Z direction then. Let's So if I turn this off, oh, I didn't want to turn strength off. I want to turn off the turbulence. So now it should only be rotating in the Z direction, if I did the math correctly. Yeah, it looks like that's right. So, I didn't know if I really wanted to worry about it too much, but I could kind of see here, since the new wind pretty much just rotates the grass instead of actually moving it. I don't know. I guess not really. I was gonna say that it kind of results in some funny looking things. So I kind of wonder if there's maybe a better way I could handle it, but then again, probably you wouldn't want to have this high of a wind strength anyway. Okay, well, I'll need to think about that, because I wonder, yeah, to get my goal of the shine, I wonder if I need to either have like a better wind system, or if I need to change the way that the wind deforms the grass. I don't know, I'll have to think about it. But okay. Oh, well, it's still 60 frames a second. That's because I left on my frames a second limiter just to keep the stream running well. So I want to turn this off and just kind of see how many frames a second I get. Oh, I guess it won't. I guess since it's set it's just gonna stay there. Oh well, okay. I'll try it out some other time. Probably better not to do that on stream anyway. Okay. So, also I shouldn't really check too much about how it looks yet, because we don't actually implement screen space ambient occlusion, which makes a big difference for grass, I think. And the reason it's not implemented is because our new grass doesn't implement a depth only or depth normal field, or not field, pass. So let's go ahead and do that now. Also, we could see about shadow casting. Okay, so basically, I think the shadowcaster can share this, like each version of the grass shader can share the same shadowcaster pass, which is definitely nice. I guess the only difference is if I had one that wasn't tessellated. Okay. I don't need either of those. Okay, so tessellation. For now, we pretty much only need things that have to do with position, not anything that has to do with lighting. So we don't need shadow. Okay, we will need this terrain normal because that has to do. Well, actually, wait, do we? Because I was gonna say we need it for wind, but I actually think, since wind is generated in the sprouting shader, we don't really care about it here. So yeah, we won't need it. Okay, we will still need the UV because of alpha clipping. And then in the interpolators, I think we only need the UV. Okay, and then in the fragment stage, we can just return 0. I don't need the front face semantic anymore. All right. No. Okay, we do need to do the Shadowcaster bias. So let me check. Oh, I don't include this stuff. Did I delete it by accident or did I forget? Yeah, okay, so I don't even have it in these, which is kind of funny because... Oh, I don't even have the instancing. Oh, okay, I do. I have the macro set up. I'm surprised I didn't get an error because I don't have the little macros in the what's it called? The structures here. So I need to put this in. Okay, and I don't have the stereo set up here either. Let's see. Actually, I think that's correct for the Shadowcaster pass because, yeah, we don't generate. Yeah, if we're doing the multi-pass or single pass VR rendering, we don't have to generate for each eye for the Shadowcaster because it's actually rendering from the light. So, okay. But we still need this. Okay, let's add it real quick to all these while I remember. And then we also need the stereo here. Oh. Okay, and then yeah, so I do these. Yeah, I have the macro set up, although not here in the domain function. So I need to okay, I forget. Okay, so actually I don't do this here. I do that in the domain function, but I still need to, oops. So yeah, basically move this down here. And then the input would be patch 0. And then we don't initialize stereo there. Okay, so this is like the kind of thing I don't want to have to do, where I have to, if I have to make a change, I have to make it to all of these files. So I need to figure out a better way to handle it. I guess the problem is you can't really put a macro in a macro, so Okay, yeah, I need to do alpha clipping. Okay, yeah, so now what I originally came here for was I needed to get this function for the Shadowcaster. I mean, I could make a helper file for this for like all Shadowcasters, but we'll see if... I mean, this one's for grass, the other one was for the ground shader, so... I don't know, maybe it would be nice to have this. It's basically, it'll be the same for everything. Okay, so, Shadowcaster bias. Okay, yeah, so Shadowcaster bias included. Right, and then I can just, instead of having to write this file, I can just include that new file. Or write that function. Hi Nilik. When is the input for Unity setup instance ID in the grass shader declared? That is this attribute structure that's passed to the Vertex shader from the earlier stage of the render pipeline. So it includes all this information from the mesh about the vertex that we need to compute for. But yeah, it's a little confusing because this is actually a macro. So Unity, I'm not sure where this is defined, but in one of URP's helper files, they've set up this macro, and basically what it does is it copies a bunch of code from here onto this line. So it's a little different than an actual function because it doesn't really know the type of this input variable. Okay. Anyway, I hope that made sense. Alright, and then here, instead of calling this transform world to hclip, I need to call get Shadowcaster position. Okay, and so I need the normal, actually. 3. Oh yeah, and this would have thrown an error anyway because the output doesn't contain a field for the normal or tangent, so... Okay. Let's see. Okay, yeah, no errors will be thrown yet, or they shouldn't anyway. Okay, well there's something. Couldn't open Shadowcaster bias. Oh, I think that's because I referred to the wrong file. Okay, so yeah, this file is inside the sprouting folder, so I have to first tell it to go to its parent, which is the double dot, and then the common folder. So that's what this little path means. And then here, Still a bit confused. Okay. Yeah, this is oh, sorry, I didn't realize you were talking about this vertex function. Oh yeah, you're right. So this input actually doesn't exist. Okay. Yeah, you're right. So I'm surprised this never threw an error, but I guess it's because this macro doesn't get declared. Okay, so yeah, now that I think about it, I don't think. Yeah, so instancing doesn't really make sense in this case. Although I guess the instance ID is, yeah, because the way I've set this up is it's only one instance. So yeah, the instance ID is always 0 or whatever. Yeah, so this, yeah, I do need to handle this differently. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm not sure how or if this is compatible with the stereo output because, or the stereo single pass rendering, because I'm not sure how Unity deals with like a procedural graphics with that. So I'd have to actually look that up. You might have to handle it yourself. But you would do something like, sorry, I don't know if this semantic is correct, but you would have to do like uint instance ID. I think it's something like, if I could type, I think it, yeah, it says instance ID. And then you'd set it yourself. But yeah, I'll have to check to see how to do that with the stereo output. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. You're trying to use instancing for XR support in order to get it to render in both eyes for the built-in pipeline. It's pretty tricky. Yeah, I can see that now. I think, yeah, I'd have to look and see how URP handles that. But let me write a note so I can... I thought I brought it up a second ago. Not sure what... okay, so let me bring up my to-do list. Oh, okay, I already do have a little tag for that. Let's see, so how do you do stereo rendering with procedural calls? Oh yeah, with I guess draw procedural. Yeah, how do I actually call it? I think, yeah, draw procedural indirect. Okay, so I think what I would do, although yeah, I haven't tested this yet, is right now I set the number of instances to 1. Let me find it. Where do I set it? Oh, right here. Okay, maybe it's in the grass feature. Yeah, you might have to do something. Oh no, this is sets up the sprouting shader. Oh, here. Okay, yeah. So yeah, we set the compute buffer data to this indirect's args, which, yeah, so I set the instance to 1. So I guess if you're doing the stereo rendering, you'd have to set this to 2, and then in between calling the instances, you'd set up the matrices. I'm not sure what Unity would do for you automatically. But yeah, so sorry I can't be more specific help, but I haven't gotten that far yet. But yeah, actually, that was a very good point. I can't do this, so I think I'll just delete all this code for now. And the Shadowcaster. Okay, I hadn't even done everything there yet. Okay. Anyway. Okay, I guess I fixed that bug. Alright, now look. Yeah, like I said, it's on my to-do list, so I'll probably figure it out in time for the tutorial. I'm kind of curious. Maybe... let me see if something comes up with a quick search. Stereo. Oh, I guess it'd be Unity, URP, stereo. Draw procedural. Gosh, I can't. I always have the hardest time typing with this. Okay. Oh, well, this isn't a good. So draw procedural doesn't render in single pass stereo on metal. They just say they won't fix it. This is pretty old. Yeah, it's only for 2018. Oh yeah, so procedural drawing on single pass stereo. Okay, they managed to get draw procedural indirect to work in 2019 with single pass instancing by setting the number of instances in the arg buffer to 2. Okay, so I was kind of on the right track. But then how do they get the instance ID? Oh, I see. So you can just use this macro to grab it. Okay. Yeah, so I think, I don't know if you're still in chat, but yeah, this looks like a good lead. I'll go ahead and link this article or this page. Yeah, because I think this is probably what you'd need to do, because you can have the instance ID here, and then you can just use the normal setup instance ID and then initialize stereo output and all that. So maybe, yeah, with that in mind, maybe I should or change this to use a attribute structure instead of having to use the 2 arguments. I don't know. For now, I'll just leave it, but I think I'll go ahead and copy this into my to-do list as well. Okay. Anyway. Oh yeah, shadow casting. So let's just worry about the fragment shader for now. Oh, I already have. Oh, this is the sprouting shader, so not this one. So I do have a shadow caster, but let me make sure it's not too out of date. Basically, we want this same info. Oh, well, it's actually, it looks like I did copy it, although at some point I missed this bit for light or point light shadows. Okay. Right, and then I need to use the same properties file and shadow caster. No position world space. Oh yeah, we don't output the world space position either. We just have the clip space position. Oh. Valid subscript color. Oh yeah, because it's just thinking. Yeah, we actually only care about the sample here. Oh, well, no, I guess we do care about the tint. So it'd be something like color tint. Because yeah, if this includes an alpha value, then it would multiply with that. So, all right. Okay, let's see. So I think on my grass manager, I need to turn on cast shadows. Okay. Nothing happened. Let's see if it even shows up in the frame debugger. All right, so we've got. I don't. Yeah, so we should have this draw procedural bit, and I don't see. Oh, here it is. So this is our grass shader. Yeah, they barely show any information for a procedural draw, which is kind of annoying, but basically this is the only procedural call, so we can assume it's our grass. But obviously it's not showing up. Ooh, why would that be? Did I not set up something correctly? Shadowcaster. Okay, let's not deal with alpha clipping just to get rid of one variable. Okay, is it main light shadow? So our draw procedural is there. So if I click this off, then it shouldn't show up here anymore, which it doesn't. Kind of a shame that when I turn this on, well, I guess it makes sense. I was gonna say because it messes up the batching, but actually it doesn't. Because yeah, it's these aren't batched anyway. You can see have different shadow caster shaders. And I think procedural geometry can't be drawn with the new batcher, which is why this is like this. So you can see adding shadow casting to the grass seems to add a not insignificant amount of draw calls, but I don't know why it's not showing up. Did I? Hey, Sprite Crater. How you doing? It's been a little bit. I'm just trying to see if I notice anything. So we took this out. Oh, actually, okay, I think I might know what. Here, yeah, I don't register the tessellation shaders. I'm surprised it didn't throw an error because the vertex and fragment shaders don't hook up otherwise, but I think that was probably the problem. Been online while you've been home. Yeah, I kind of took a break over Christmas, so not too surprising. But I'm back to streaming regularly now. Oh, but yeah, so now the shadows are all pretty good. Although, yeah, okay, so we don't have alpha clipping, so they're all rectangles, but at least now we actually have shadows. Okay, so one thing I need to do is they need to be double-sided. I just remembered this. So here the normal has to be flipped when we're on. So we kind of want it to always point towards the camera. I might steal some code. Well, okay, let's see if we can figure this out. So basically we want the view direction, and then if the view direction and the normal have a negative dot product, then we want to flip the normal. So, okay, so flip 3, view direction world space equals, should be able to get it from any lit pass basically. Or get the function I'm looking for. Yeah, right here. Okay, so we have the view direction from the world position, and then I'm just going to use a branch. It's probably a better way to do it. Actually, well, we could use, I don't know, I don't want to do anything fancy at the moment. So if dot view direction, and then the normal is less than 0, then we'll flip the normal vector. Okay, so this way the normal vector should always be like on the same side of the mesh as the view direction, which will help the shadow bias look better. Okay, I think we can test it out. So if I turn the bias, like custom biases, and then increase the normal, they should always move towards. Oh well, yeah. I'm gonna say they should always move towards the camera, but actually I think I'm visualizing it wrong. But I know a way we can. Oh, I was gonna say we can just output the normal vector as color, but we're in the Shadowcaster pass, so. I think it looks okay. I'm looking for kind of like shimmering shadows, which is kind of common with materials that are like a flat mesh like this. You can kind of see it right there. I think it's just at an unfortunate angle with the light. Almost looks. What's the deal with that? It almost looks like transparent. It's funny, all the grass is like semi-transparent. Why is that? Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing. I don't know what's going on because it's alpha clipped. Maybe, oh, I think it has to do, it's probably screen space ambient occlusion. And because these grass blades don't write to depth, the ambient occlusion only shows the dirt behind it. So I bet if I turn off, yeah, I think that's it. So yeah, now when we turn it off, you can't notice it as much, or you don't notice it at all. Okay. Anyway, I think it looks fine. I think I'll just. One thing I want to check. Let me turn off shadows. Okay, this is the shadow thing. One thing I didn't like is that it seemed like one side of the grass, like here, I think it could just be the angle, but here the bottom is lighter, and then, but on this side it's quite dark. So I didn't know if that was because the normal vector is messed up, but I think it's actually just because of the direction of the light. Yeah, if I rotate this around. Okay, well, it's not too bad. I don't see too much weird banding or anything, so. Probably it'll look a lot better when I get the alpha clipping on. there's kind of this disconnect, but I think it's actually because of my shader or my textures, because you can see the grass doesn't actually touch the ground. So I don't know, probably could use a better texture here, because yeah, I think this grass would actually look better if it was transparent blended instead of alpha clipped. But really difficult to do transparent blending with this system, I think, because you'd have to, since it's all one mesh, you would have to sort the grass blades from the camera, which would be very slow. So I don't know if that'll ever happen, but anyway. Okay, so now we have shadow casting. So let's fix the ambient occlusion, which we basically just need to make a depth only pass and then a depth normal pass. Okay, so we don't need the shadow caster bit anymore. We still need all this stuff. Basically, it's pretty much exactly the same, except we don't care about that. And then we just call the normal transform to H-clip. Let's get rid of that. Okay, no, it's not going to be here either. I know I'm going to type the function wrong, so I'm trying to think where I can copy and paste it from. Here we go. Okay, yeah, we still need UV because we're going to do alpha clipping. Okay, but yeah, so this is basically the same. And then we need depth normal pass, which is a little different. So in this one, yeah, okay, so we still need UV for alpha clipping, but then we also need the normal vector. So output normal world space. Yeah, so we'll do alpha clipping, and then we need to also, yeah, we'll have to flip the normal vector, and since we're doing it in the fragment shader, we can use that front face semantic instead of doing the view direction, which is probably a little faster. Okay, we can simplify this, I think. So yeah, if it's on the front face, we'll just return, I guess this would be input.normal. Otherwise, it's the negative input normal. Okay, so now there's a bunch of stuff about how to encode this normal vector. I think I have it all set up here. Yeah, and it depends on the Unity version. Oh, I think this is actually out of date. I changed this in my URP shader tutorial. So let's update it. Nope. It's all right. Okay. Yeah. So I have. Yeah. So first of all, I don't do normal mapping in the depth normal pass. I kind of played with it a little bit, but it doesn't really add much. And I think the Unity doesn't even expect you to do it. Okay. Actually, yeah, this is pretty out of date because it doesn't even do alpha clipping. I need to make sure that I update all these. Oh, actually, I think I took out alpha clipping on purpose because there's no alpha clipping on the terrain. But do I really want to do that? Yeah, so I don't have an alpha clipping threshold. Yeah, that might be something that I was a little hasty in removing. But regardless. Oh yeah, and this, I need to make sure it uses the 2D array. Oh wait, okay, so this is actually not the grass, this is the simple shader. So did I mess something else up there? Oh right, I don't do alpha clipping. Okay. Okay, so yeah, let's just get rid of this for now. Yeah, I don't need UVs then. Okay, anyway, so yeah, you can see if Unity is in 2021.2, then there's two different ways you can pack the normal vector. This way, this algorithm I took from Unity's depth normal shader. And yeah, I don't know exactly what they're doing here, but this is just the way that they, basically we have to encode it like this because that's the way that the screen space ambient occlusion shader expects the normal vector. But then if this is turned off, then you just give it world space normals. But then before 2021.2, you just use this. They're actually in view space and use the octrect encode function. Anyway. Okay, so let's go back to the grass shader. Okay. So it to use the flipped normal. Yeah, either way we need to normalize it, so we might as well do it here. Okay, so yeah, I think we've taken all possibilities. Okay, I was just checking here. So it doesn't actually use like a multi-compile for this option. So this must be defined like at compile time. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I was just curious. So now on the fragment lit, we need to, oh, again, that's the sprouting shader. Enable the depth only and depth normals passes. I guess I should get rid of this instancing because, yeah, there's no instancing in this shader. I already got rid of it here. Because, yeah, we're doing that ourselves. Okay. Also, I should bump up this pragma because they all need tessellation and also compute buffers. Okay, so yeah, this uses the depth only pass, and this one uses depth normal pass. Okay, I guess this should have an S at the end, just to make it consistent. Okay, and I think that's it. Do they have any... Yeah, they don't have any special multi-compiles. Okay, so now with that, oh, we got an error, but both H-clip no matching 2-parameter function. Okay, yeah, because it doesn't need normals for that. Or yeah, normal vector. Okay, so now it should work with screen space ambient occlusion. So if I turn it on, we shouldn't see the dirt behind it anymore. Okay, that's some kind of yucky shadow banding, actually. Okay, let's just turn off the shadows for now. Because the screen space ambient occlusion kind of adds shadows anyway. Alright, so let's see if we can notice when we turn it on and off. Okay, so it does make it a lot softer. I think it looks pretty good on grass. Well, I'm surprised it makes this area lighter. I wonder, did I mess up something? Oh, here's this. I do have a multi-compile. Let's... Yeah, I'm surprised about the way the lighting looks there. Let's see, we can look at the ambient occlusion shader. Be easier if I was in 2021.2 because I had that. Have the debug view. Okay, you can see it gets the grass. Okay, so it seems good. It's kind of hard to tell because the colors here don't match exactly how you'd expect normal or regular normal vectors, because due to the encoding, green is not up in this. But I mean, you can kind of see that all the green points in a similar direction. What's this doing? Oh, the grass sprout. Okay. Oh, I was gonna see about just the normal depth pass, but yeah, it's using the depth normal, so. Yeah, so the normal depth pass seems good. It's really hard to see because just the way that depth works, it's not linear, but you kind of see shapes of the grass in there. Okay. Oh, well, shadows are back. I'm just surprised that when I turn it on, some things get lighter. So I don't know if I've messed up the lighting algorithm or is it some other weird interaction. Because yeah, it's a big difference and that shouldn't really happen. Of course, shadow casting is on again, but let's see if I can find out what's going on. Let's have it just output the ambient occlusion. Okay, so it's darker at the bottom because the ambient occlusion texture is darker at the bottom. When I turn it on, okay, so the screen space ambient occlusion is kind of overriding the occlusion from the texture. So yeah, I did make a bug here. Let's see. So I'm trying to take the minimum. So screen space occlusion is on. I'm taking the. Okay, so I'm setting this to the minimum of the ambient occlusion from the texture and then the ambient occlusion factor. So that means it should only darken. So why does it get brighter? Let me just return ambient occlusion before the screen space takes it. Okay, yeah, so it is the screen space that's messing it up. Let's take out this then. Okay. Okay, that looks right. So Why does... Because this is even there even when ambient occlusion is not on. Okay, so the indirect ambient occlusion... Oh, you know what? This should be... Here, I should take the maximum of the ambient occlusion in the variable and then this ambient occlusion minimum. This is... Do I use... Or how do I use this ambient occlusion factor? I think... Okay, so it just multiplies the direct with the light color here, which is fine because the ambient occlusion in the ambient occlusion factor, or the ambient occlusion from the texture, is only interacts with this indirect. So do I ever use this anywhere? I guess that's the question. No. Okay, so I guess that's fine. I just store it in here. I feel like it'd probably be better if I just kind of... I think what I wanted to do is I didn't want to have to pass this ambient occlusion factor around to every function, but I guess it's only used in this global illumination, so maybe just to make things clearer, I should. So then the ambient occlusion factor be something like, instead of using the ambient occlusion from the lighting data, we would use the indirect occlusion. Okay, is that it? Oh no, it's down here as well. Okay, well, this is fine. Let's test that, and then instead of doing an in-out here, I think I'll just take that away and we'll apply. Yeah, we'll just kind of combine everything into this. And then I want to max. Oh, okay. Okay, the reason I have done it how I have is because I'm trying to make this function work the same as in the Unity, as in Unity 2021.2, which if I go messing with these arguments won't work anymore. I don't really like having like two ambient occlusion values. let's change this. Okay, so I want this to be the same as URP's version, but I think I'm gonna override it here. So I'll just I wish I didn't have to pass the value, but okay, now I'm confused. What was the whole bug? Oh yeah, I had used the wrong variable at some point. Okay, let me just I don't know. I think I'm gonna kind of revert everything I did. All right. Yeah, I need to test this in 2021.2 before I go changing things to make sure it still works. Okay, so what I had to do, the bug here was that I need to use this value instead of what's inside the ambient occlusion factor, I think. Okay, yeah, now it's still respecting the ambient occlusion texture on the grass. Okay, so this should fix that lightning. I need to, let me write a note to test, or to fix that on my HLSL shader, because that would be a shame if that typo got there. Okay. So that is better. I mean, there's an argument you can make that the shadow is too dark, well, we can fix that actually pretty easily. When you take off cast shadows, you don't notice it at all. Okay, but yeah, ambient occlusion I think adds a lot to grass because it kind of helps separate the blades from the ones behind it. I mean, it probably is pretty expensive because if you have SSAO, you have to render the depth and depth normals for the grass as well as the lit shader, but it's not too bad. I wonder, like, I want to try to do a version that doesn't have tessellation because I think that would be quite a bit faster, but it's a little difficult. Anyway, okay, so the only other pass that most URP shaders have is a meta pass for light mapping, but the grass doesn't need to have a meta pass because it is not present in the scene when you're doing light mapping, because basically it is only where the camera is, so let's see here. Yes, I wanted to see how this looked. So this I'm turning up, so the minimum ambient occlusion. You can see it really. It's kind of the ambient occlusion is a lot stronger in the shadow, which I guess makes sense. Or the contribution of it is a lot stronger in the shadow. I think that looks a little better. I could probably have a little ambient subsurface scattering. Okay, so now one thing I want to try to do is just, well, I'm kind of curious, but I would like to just output the specular highlight for the main light and see what that looks like. So, okay, well, we could do something fancy with keywords, but just return there and then just not include translucency or the diffuse. Okay, got an error. Oh yeah, I have to do alpha on this return value. Okay, well, it's also including baked lighting, which we can get rid of right there. Okay, so this is only specular, so I kind of wanted to just watch how it doesn't seem to be affected by the wind as much as I hoped, but maybe I'm kind of thinking that it's stronger than it actually would be. What if I... Okay, you can kind of see it right there. I guess a better test would be, does it actually change the normals a lot? So yeah, instead of returning all that lighting stuff, we can just return the normal. Okay, so yeah, we can see the normal vector is definitely changing. So yeah, it turns more green as the grass becomes flat with the sky. Okay, I think one thing, yeah, I don't know. This rotation thing is kind of, I mean, it's cool because it can like basically encode curve and wind and everything in one value on the quaternion, but I don't know if it really models the way that wind would affect grass that well, because it kind of makes it curve towards the ground when really the grass should just make it move in the direction of, or the wind should make grass move in the direction of its blowing. But I don't know. I mean, I guess it would kind of curve towards the ground because of gravity, but maybe it doesn't look good because of like the wind pattern. I don't know. I need to like probably spend time watching how like windy. Sorry, strong winds affect long grass. Okay, so if I increase the scale, oh no, so that does the opposite of what I want. So if I decrease the scale, I think that's probably too high maybe. Okay, this actually looks better. Okay, yeah, maybe that was the only thing I had to do really. Okay, well anyway, the normal is fine. Okay, so yeah, I think the shine's working a little bit more how I want. Maybe, yeah, I need to increase the smoothness a little bit. That would be here. Oh, okay, no, it did go, I just didn't really notice. Okay, it's still not really doing like the wave effect with the shines, but I think that actually might be due to the wind pattern and not really my shader, so probably should spend some time trying to make a better like wind system. But I don't know, that's not super on topic. Oh, yeah, it's just added back in global illumination, so I need to uncomment all this stuff. Okay, so I don't know. What I'm trying to decide is, do I want to try to make a better like way to deform the grass, or am I okay with just using the rotations? So the nice thing about this is that it includes, like, since it's only a rotation, basically I only have to pass quaternions and then I can get the normal vector really easily. Or if I added in some kind of like translation, then I'd have to, basically I would have to add scale into the mix, and then I couldn't use just a quaternion. I'd have to use a matrix. I'm not sure how much slower that would make everything. Oh, hey NTT, how are you doing? It's been a little bit. But I do kind of like the wind being computed in the sprouting shader, because that way it's only computed once per grass blade, and I can kind of combine, like in the future when I add interaction, I can combine that into the same system. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to decrease strength. Here we go. Down to a more sane value. Let me just see how this looks. Hope I had a good holiday. I did, thank you. I hope you did too. And yeah, thanks. I'm pretty happy with the grass too. Although yeah, there's still some tweaks I want to make, but I feel like the grass system as it is looks really good for kind of just tranquil scenes like this. But I don't know, there's something that I'd like to do a little bit better. Like I know I keep on harping on the specular highlights, but I kind of like them to be a little stronger. Let's see here. You can't even really tell, but I think that might be because the smoothness is really low. Yeah, they all move together. That's because I have the wind scale pretty high. Or pretty low, I mean. So I can make it... Yeah, if I bring it back up, they'll start moving separately. The scale, like this low scale looks good when I had very like strong wind, but I think with the more gentle wind, the scale does look better, smaller, so... I think this looks pretty good, but when I move the wind strength up, I don't know, it just starts to look kind of strange. But probably would need a different system, so that's a whole another bag of worms. I guess yeah, probably I think if I wanted to do strong wind, yeah, it'd probably need its own pattern, so maybe I should just not worry about it for this specific tutorial. But something maybe to investigate later. Because I already kind of want to do something with like programmable wind shapes so that you can have, I don't know, like some kind of like whirlwind type thing. I'm thinking like if you were playing some game and you had like a wind power or something, that you'd want the grass to react to that. So I'd like to make a system like that, and I could probably use the same thing to control like a strong wind pattern as well. But anyway, let's see here. We're pretty much done with the instance lit and fragment lit. So I guess we could work on this. Okay, for this, we're pretty much done with the texture. Okay. In a storm environment, that would look great as is. Oh, yeah, I guess it does look pretty good. Maybe I'm being too picky, but I don't know. It just there's just something a little strange about it to me, about the movement. But maybe I need to like look and see how it actually looks in real life before I'm too hard on myself. Anyway, let's see. What do I want to do next? So we could add more different types of shaders, but I'm kind of running into the problem that I had before where I have so many different variants. If I have to make a change to one, it's a huge pain to have to make it to all of them. But I'm not sure if there's really a good way to get around that. Because in HLSL you're kind of limited in what you can do. Let's see here. So like, for instance, instance lit. So it has some code in common, but not everything. Okay, well, I mean, most of this is just transferring data around. There's not like any real logic, so I don't know. Probably okay. Okay. Maybe before I go on, let's try to fix instancing, or at least I can't really test the stereo eye, but let's just theoretically get it to work. Okay, so we'll have attributes, structure, and this will have the vertex ID, and then we'll have the Unity instance ID. Nope. And then here we'll have it as well. And then in the interpolators, we'll need to have the instance ID and then the stereo I. Do I actually? I think we can just do this in the vertex stage. So yeah, we can just pass it through here. Although, okay, I don't know how to transfer that output to the interpolator. I guess, okay, I guess we don't really have to, so this is fine. Oh wait, yeah, we would have to. Okay, so I'll just do it this easy way, because we have a tessellation, I'm not sure exactly. Okay, so then we'll take this, and then we can use these. And some of the stuff we don't really have to do, because, well, I don't know. I don't know exactly. I don't know where these are defined in Unity, and it would be really difficult to find out on stream because I'd have to like search through every source file. It might not even be like an URP, so I'd have to somehow get into the built-in render pipeline. But okay, so yeah, this is fine. Except instead of input, we'll use the first patch. Okay, do I need to do anything in the whole function? No, because it just returns the value, so it's already set. Okay, and I need to initialize the stereo output. Yeah, I wish I knew what this did, because I don't know if I need to put it in the tessellation stage or the vertex stage for sure, but anyway. Okay, so give me an error. No matching one parameter function. Oh right, I need to pass it. Or yeah, it's now inside the structure. Okay, there we go. There's tessellation for grass 2 now. Yeah, that's how I because the shader basically just knows that there's 4 vertices in it. I said that weird. But how do I explain it? So when we generate the buffer with all the grass positions, we have to tell the shader or the renderer how many vertices are in this entire mesh for all the grass. And so we kind of want the number of vertices to be variable, because we want there to be more vertices at the or near the camera than for grass blades at the back. So you can see these are just, they have no curvature. But that's kind of difficult to tell, and basically in the vertex function, we need each sprout to have the same number of vertices so that we can, from the vertex ID, we can figure out which sprout to refer to. So in order to have variable numbers, or kind of the best of both worlds, I use tessellation to generate more points when they're close by. Transition seamless if you use the camera position to zoom in and out. That's a good question, actually. I think it does snap, but okay, you can see it does snap when it gets close, or when it transitions number of tessellation points. But you can't really tell because there's just too much grass that far out. Like you can see in the view, you can only see the snapping in the scene. So it's a little bit of a line right there. And I think, yeah, we could probably tweak the LOD a little bit, but thanks, NTT. The distance will hide the snapping for sure. I think so. Technically, I think you could have it smoothly transition the amount of tessellation using like a different partitioning mode. But I think the integer mode is the fastest, which is why I went with that. But all that being said, I'm trying to think of a way to do it without tessellation, because I think that would be faster. But I'm not sure how to like store the data correctly that would make that possible. I'm still kind of brainstorming. Okay. So anyway, should support stereo eye, but I need to test it some more. Okay, yeah, now I have to go and change it for all the different passes, which is, like I said, something I want to try to avoid, but I'm not sure the best way to do that in this case. I don't know, I think I kind of just need to make peace with it that I can't make it much cleaner than this. Okay, so we need to have the instance ID also here and here, and then we need to have the stereo, oops, there. And okay, so we set up Did I put it in the wrong spot? Oh no, it's fine. And down here. And finally in the fragment stage. Alright, make sure no errors. Oh, there was something. Oh, forgot the S. Okay, and oh right, I need to do all the other stages or passes. Okay, so I guess I don't know. Should I keep going? Okay, so the reason I'm hesitating again is because in order to, I don't really see. We'll never do GPU instancing because basically we create the number of instances because we're using graphics draw procedural, and so I always set it to 1. So if I wanted to do the stereo, I'd have to increase the number of instances myself. Which I guess would work. I don't know how that would. I think I need to do testing. So this person says they can get it to work just by kind of what I've been doing, but I don't know how, like, will Unity set up this stereo stuff correctly for me? I don't know. But yeah, so the Shadowcaster, like I said before, it doesn't need stereo support because it is rendered from the light instead of both eyes. So I don't even know if I need to do anything with instances either. But I guess I'll still do that attribute structure just because it makes it more extensible. But yeah, so we won't have an instance ID or anything. How hard would it be to add a mask with all of the tessellation so you only spawn grass in a specific location, like a painted texture mask? That's actually have already done that. You can control where grass grows using a texture on this ground. Let me I actually haven't shown that off in a while, so okay, so we have the dirt shader and okay, so yeah, I have this density map, so I can turn it off and you'll see grass. There's more grass because before it was kind of, the density was controlled by that noise. Don't I have, I'm pretty sure I have a stripe texture. Oh yeah, so here. So now because this texture has this stripe, I think the density is controlled by the red, so there's no red at the edges. It only grows grass in this stripe shape. Is that what you mean? Oops. Why did it? Okay, I guess it was just changing variants there. But yeah, when I move the camera around, you can see kind of masking out the stripe shape. So how I think the workflow would be is that you would basically make a terrain model, and then when you UV mapped it, you could paint on grass onto this grass control texture or something. Does it scale well if you only have very few small patches of grass here and there? Yeah, you mean like performance-wise? I think it would be fine because basically, like, it only renders. Let's see. Well, okay. I guess yes and no, because if you only have small patches, you'll still have to render the sprouting shader, which kind of doesn't even care like how many patches of grass are active. But the actual grass shader that draws the grass cards or grass textures, it would not run as much if there was only a few grass excuse me, grass blades to render. So that would be a lot faster. I'd have to test to see. Yeah, I need to do some profiling on this system. I've still been kind of just trying to get everything to work. Oh, it's okay, NTT. I don't mind at all. I'm kind of just like cleaning up loose ends at the moment. I'm not sure what I'll do next with this system. Let's see. Okay, so Shadowcaster. Okay, so I need to do the depth. Where'd my shaders go? Okay, so depth only is rendered from the two eyes, so I do have to add all this stuff with the instance ID. Which I don't know. Like I said before, well, I guess I'm just preparing, but I don't really want to test it on stream because I need to hook up my Oculus and all that stuff, but let's see here. I need this. And this. And then we've got to set up this stuff in the vertex function. And then stereo I and the domain function, and judging by the fact that when I had this before and it never threw an error even though I didn't have an attributes structure, I don't think this runs at all since I don't have VR enabled, so it's not like slowing down anything. I wonder how well the system would work in VR. I guess it'd be fine on PC VR, but I figure for like Android VR it'd be pretty slow because it really doesn't like extra passes, and we have to do the sprouting pass at the very least. Okay, input. All right, I need to add all this stuff. I should have done this before writing these passes probably, but okay, let's just make sure there's no errors. All right, so I have a lot to do. All right, so I think I pretty much got all this stuff done. This is what I did like before I rewrote everything, but well, okay, let's try this hybrid instance lighting. So what I want to try to do here is kind of, so the instance lit version calculates lighting once per grass blade. Let's see how that looks now that I guess before I move on to make sure it still is working okay. And the good thing about that is obviously it runs a lot faster. So I need to, the only problem is it requires a different shader, so you have to switch everything out, but okay, so yeah, I need the instance lit ground. Okay, and it also has this weird bug with the lighting modes, but how come that doesn't affect? Yeah, so this is a bug with Unity 2020.3. Yeah, I said it right. Where sometimes lights just act really strange. But I'm not sure why it only affects this instance lit version. Okay, so like for instance, before it was all black, and that's because for some reason the shadows weren't being registered correctly for this light. And it was saying that the shadow was the entire world basically, so everything was black. And then when I move this, you can see it's like there's a phantom red light right here that's still coloring this grass, but it doesn't, but it still affects grass when I move the light, so it's really weird. Yeah, but it doesn't affect the fragment lit version, does it? It seemed not to. I don't know. why that would be. Let's see. So if I switch back to the fragment lit, okay, so this is still there. Well, obviously everything's not black, so the shadows aren't bugged. So what if I duplicate and delete it like I did before? Does it create a phantom red light? No. Okay. I don't know if that's... I'm kind of surprised it doesn't happen for the fragment lit grass. Now that I think about it. I wonder... So the only real difference is that the sprout, the instance lit version, the sprouting shader has to run before the shadow caster. Oh no, it has to run after the shadow caster? Okay, so that would make even less sense. Because I was thinking, before I was thinking that, okay, well the instance lit has to run before the shadow caster, so maybe the light data is not set up. But it actually has to run after it because we sample shadows during the sprite pass, or the sprout pass. But the light data has to be set up for the shadow caster, right? Okay, let's check it again. So I'm just gonna duplicate it and delete it so I don't notice anything weird, and no phantom red light. Yeah, it's lighting the ground too. And then in the frame debugger, we can check the order of everything. Okay, so yeah, there's the main light shadow. What's this one? Okay, it's just clearing the shadow texture. Okay, so this is the cone light shadow. And then this is, okay, the sprout shader. That's kind of funny. I think it's just because the frame debugger doesn't really isn't really made for the way that I've done this, because like I output data to a buffer from the fragment shader, which is kind of not that common. But yeah, so even though I click here, which is before the grass should render, it still shows up because the buffer has been filled. But anyway. Okay, so yeah, this is the sprouting shader, and this is the, okay, the depth prepass, but okay, and then this is the depth only. Okay, and then finally the opaque. So this looks fine. So okay, so remember the order. So sprouting runs after shadows, but before depth prepass, which makes sense because we have to know where the grass will be before depth prepass, because the grass draws to the depth texture. Okay, so yeah, that's correct. Also, oh, this was depth normal. Was it not? Okay, shouldn't have closed it yet, I guess. Was it generating a depth normal texture? Okay, that's oh yeah, let's look up table. I don't even see green space ambient occlusion. Oh, it's not on. Okay, that would make sense. Okay, yeah, so now the depth normal pass, but it's still the same order. Okay, anyway, so keep that in mind, and I'll switch over to the instance lit, and we'll see if we can just notice something that might cause that weird lighting bug. I need to make a better user interface for this, because you have to make sure that the grass shader, the ground shaders match, and that this type is the same, or it won't work. Okay, so yeah, so it's all black, which is because the shadows are messed up. Okay, so we've got the shadows, and then the sprouting, and then depth normal. So it's basically the same, actually, the same order. So what is... So I do change the frame it runs, right? Oh, okay, so if it casts shadows, it should run before. I think that's not right. Why ever run before? Oh, because if it casts shadows, it needs to run before rendering. Oh, okay, so that is right, actually. I see. But okay, so this, the only time this cast shadows is true is if casting shadows is enabled and it's a fragment lit. So actually we were kind of testing the same render pass event. So okay, this must not be why it's messing up then. But I mean, I just rewrote both of these shaders and they pretty much are the exact same, except the fragment lit has extra stuff. Actually, the instance lit does not have a shadow caster or any of this stuff. Maybe that's why? Okay. Well, the instance lit shader can never cast shadows because it relies on shadows passed to it from the sprouting shader. So it has to run, or so the sprouting shader has to run after shadows are already rendered. So basically, yeah, it doesn't ever need a shadow caster pass, but the rest of this is fine. And since there's no lighting, it can use the same passes. Okay, so yeah, it's basically exactly the same. But still has this weird bug. Okay. Oh wow. So now it's flickering. That's new. All I've changed is adding those passes. Okay, oh, the phantom light's gone though, isn't it? What could be causing that flickering? Okay, so it stops when it's paused. Sort of. It looks like Z fighting. Okay, so it's grass sprouting. I wonder, this seems like a structure mismatch. Did I? Okay, so yeah, it's the instance lit version of the dirt. And then the grass has instance lit. Okay, so it actually still has the fragment lit material. Okay, so yeah, that was probably the flickering. But that means that... Okay, so that means that the lighting thing, or the lighting bug, is in the dirt and not... Okay, well that actually makes sense, but is in the dirt shader and not the grass shader because, or sorry, the sprouting shader and not the grass shader because we had that weird light bug when I had the instance lit shader active. Or, sorry, I keep saying the wrong thing. I guess we'll see it. So it's black here, which means it's not working, and we have an instance lit grass shader. So if I put fragment lit, okay, it's still black. So that means that it's not the grass blade shader. Okay, so if I put instance lit here, but then give the dirt a fragment lit version, okay, it's going to be really weird, but it's not black. Okay. Ignore that huge grass. That's just because the structures don't match up. Okay, but okay, so but it's not black. So the lighting only happens on the instance lit version of the dirt. Okay. Well, we've narrowed it down a bit. Still don't really know what would cause it. Maybe you can see the difference. Okay, so obviously it's not going to be black. Well, we already kind of figured out one way to remove the weird shadow is if I disregard shadow attenuation. So if I turn this off, the grass is green, but obviously we can't do that because we don't get shadows anymore. I wonder, so if I turn that off, do I still get the phantom red light though? Let's see. So we'll duplicate this and turn it off. And then move this. Okay, so there's still the phantom red light. Do I have the phantom red light if I don't do that duplication thing? No. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, the weird thing is, it's like this, the attenuation, it's not even, okay, how do I explain it? Like, in order to turn everything completely black, it has to like even be stronger than the baked lighting, because I think if I just saturate this so that it's at 0 at minimum, then it works. But you shouldn't have to do that, so I don't really want to rely on it, because we'd still get the weird phantom red light bug just from enabling and disabling this light. So yeah, see, it's orange over there. But it's like this value is set to like, I don't know, some negative value because it makes this light color so strong that it turns black even with the baked lighting. So I don't know, it's some weird, I've had to deal with this on my toon shaders before too. Oops. And I've never really been able to find out a way to fix it, although it seems like now I'm kind of close because I've been able to narrow it down to something to do with the shader, but I don't know what. Let's see. So what are the differences? So the fragment lit, the grass sprouting mode, well, I think the biggest difference is that the instance lit has all the lighting keywords. So obviously if we turn this off, then that bug would not happen anymore, but... Okay, so what if I turn everything off except for this light map stuff? Maybe we can just go keyword by keyword and find one that might cause the problem. Do I even do anything with screen space occlusion? Like, why do I include it there? Yeah, I don't set the... Yeah, so that shouldn't be enabled. I don't think that's the problem, but let's just make sure, I guess. Yeah, so we don't have screen space occlusion because it doesn't really make sense if we're only gonna basically test it once for the entire blade. Okay, so yeah, that wasn't the cause, which... I mean, why would that have anything to do with the light data? Okay, so let's disable everything except this shadow map stuff. Okay, so if I disable this, so now these shaders are the same, you would think. Yeah. Okay. So now it well, it does work. Do we even get... Wait. Oh, okay, so these shadows must just be from the light map. So yeah, if I disable this... Okay, it stays shadowed because, yeah, it's not a real-time shadow. Okay. Okay, yeah, so you can see here, this sphere is real-time, so it's not baked shadows, and you can see the grass under the sphere is not in shadow. Okay, so if I... okay, let's just enable main light shadows. Okay, so that works. Let's enable additional light shadows. I kind of feel like this is the problem. Or no, let's just do additional lights first. Okay, so it's not that, and we can tell it's being affected because you can see the blue ring. Although, is it affecting the grass, I guess is the question. Yeah, so you can see it's kind of orangish. Alright, so I guess this is the moment of truth. We're going to enable the additional light shadows. Oh, so that's not even it. Kind of surprising to me. Okay, so if I turn off the directional light, just want to make sure that... Okay, yeah, so you can see this one's kind of bluish, or the one inside's not. So it's definitely being affected by that shadow. Okay, so that's really interesting to me. What about soft shadows? Oh, soft shadows makes it black. Why would that be? What about if I turn off soft shadows? Okay, okay, so this caused a bug in my render feature. Okay, object reference not set to an instance. Oh, I think that... Okay, so that happened because... Yeah, this grass manager wasn't set. Which would be because this is running... Okay, so that's weird because if the grass manager is not ready, it shouldn't have even enqueued the pass. But why, when I turn off soft shadows, did it like break all rendering? Okay, let's press play and get it to like reset. Okay. Something with soft shadows. I would not have expected that because... How does it even affect the light data? So let's duplicate this. Do we get phantom red light? Yes, we do. Okay, so that's not exactly the reason. Okay, we're not really working too much on grass, but I hope this kind of bug sleuthing isn't too boring. Okay. Let's fix one thing at a time. We kind of know, so we know soft shadows is causing the weird shadow, like blackness, although it's not causing the phantom red light, so I guess we've learned that they're different issues. I don't know if that's comforting or not. Okay, so yeah, if I turn back on the soft shadows. Okay, well, first of all, for some reason that like messes up the grass system. Does the same thing happen if I... Okay. So it seems like it basically happens anytime you change something in this rendered data. I don't really think this either is what causes the weird lighting bugs, but... So why would this happen? Because it's saying that the grass manager... So we have grass manager is null. I kind of wanted to change this anyway, instead of trying to, well, wait. I was going to say, instead of trying to find the object, that we'd maybe just have it set itself. I guess the only problem is the grass manager is like tied to the scene, but the renderer is tied to the renderer object. I guess we could take the renderer instance as a parameter here. Yeah. So I've kind of thought about this a little bit because at the moment we are only allowed to do like one type of grass in the scene. So I thought, well, is there a way that I can get two grass renderers to run? I'm not really sure if that would even be possible because I have to do, in order to get the buffer to be able to be written during the fragment stage, I have to like, let me see if I can find it. Set this random write target, and I think this is global, so if I wanted to have it be different, like for multiple grass renderers, you'd have to take up more of these, which I guess is possible. But anyway, it's kind of the reason I'm thinking about that now is because I don't know if there's a way that I can assign a specific instance of a feature to a script, because you can only like assign the renderer. And if I had like 2 grass features on here, then I don't think there's a way I can distinguish between the two when I set it to this. But let's see. Okay, so if I place it, oh, okay, so there is a way, because I can see them both here with this drop down. Why does the second one not show up though? Oh, okay, I just had to save it. Okay, so this would actually work. Yeah, like I said, I don't even know if this would really be possible, but now, if it is possible, I can easily set the feature there. So I guess we'll do this. I mean, you can always just make the grass manager be a prefab. That way you won't have to set the feature in every scene. Okay, so let's kind of move around some of this code. So instead of trying to find the grass manager, we'll wait for the grass manager to set itself. I already had this. I don't really know why, but must have been for something I was trying to make before. So basically, do that. So once it's initialized, then we'll set the feature. Huh? Is it not? Oh, it's internal. Oh, it should have worked anyway. I mean, it does. Oh, this is the sprouting pass. Property type grass manager. Oh, it needs this public. Okay, let's see if it works. No. Ooh, okay, it doesn't like that at all. Object reference not set to an instance. I think it's the same thing. But yeah, so it's saying grass manager is not set. Oh, okay. That's because when I call this, I need to set it again. How about instead this pass will just like refer back to the grass feature? They're kind of tied together anyway. So yeah, it doesn't really need this. Okay. Must have my copy and paste there. Bring that to another line. Oh, okay, let's clean this up a little bit. Okay, that's better, I think. Okay. And so this shouldn't even, I guess the only time a problem would happen is if for some reason the grass manager gets destroyed in between add render passes and one of these functions is called, which might be what happens. Oh, it's black and white. Okay, let's press play to get it to clear everything. Okay, no, that didn't work. Get resource. Don't know what that means. Let's restart Unity. Okay, I think now the grass feature is null. I forgot to set it. Okay. Okay, so there we go. Let's turn this on. Okay, so the good thing is the whole rendering pipeline doesn't crash. The bad thing is everything's still black. Okay, so soft shadows make it turn black. Why would that happen? I guess let's see if somebody else has run into this. Unity, soft shadows, URP, black. Okay, no, that's not what I... Okay, well, seems like I'm on uncharted territory. That's so weird. But why does... Okay, well, we don't even sample soft shadows here. We sample it in fragment lit. The soft shadows are sampled. Okay. Well, let's see here. Like, is it... Should I even do soft shadows on instance lit? Because we're sampling the shadows once for the entire grass blade. So, I mean, I guess it would look a little better. But I don't know why it would mess everything up. Have it enabled. Let's close this. And okay, so it's not really anything here. Although I guess it could be shadow mask. Oh, well, no, they just sample the light map. I just saw a way I can clean this up a little bit. Let's do flip 4 shadow mask. Because both of these versions have this. And flip 3 baked GI. So that way I don't have to copy quite as much code. Okay, anyway, that was like I still don't tint with a color texture for the sprouts, so I should add that. Okay, I actually did add it up here. That should be something we should do before we move too far on, but just trying to think, like, what in the world could this be? Did I miss something? I guess one thing I could do, does this problem happen? Soft shadows on. And then I turn off all lights except for the sunlight. Oh, I didn't want to delete them though. Okay, so it's not, it doesn't have to do with the main light, it's something with the spotlight. Good. I wanted to make sure that was still reproducible. Well, let's check. Is there some bug in the lighting function? I mean, it basically just uses Unity's get additional light. So we'll get, let's compare. so first off, they get additional lights count, which we do. Okay, so they do ++ light index. I don't really think that makes any difference. Then they get additional light, they pass light index. The position and the shadow mask, which do the same. It gets... Okay, so we do stuff with light layers, which is for 2021.2. Okay, so it does screen space occlusion, which we do with this function. And then it calls the lighting function, so it's basically the same. Okay, so that means... I mean, it still could be my fault because I might have missed a keyword somewhere. But, I mean, the code is the same between the two functions, so I don't know... Well, okay, I guess that's... I should be comparing the instance lit ground with the fragment lit grass. Which I guess might be a good idea. What is different? I think it's all the same, really. So we've got main light shadows, shadow cascades, additional lights, additional light shadows, soft shadows, and then you got no screen space. It's all 2021 stuff. I don't do decals. Is that something I want to support? I have to make sure the decals render before. Well, I guess we've got to test out all the new stuff in 2021. We got green space, shadows, decals, light, layers, light, cookies. Those are the main ones. I guess point light shadows. I guess we should do the new screen space ambient occlusion stuff. Anyway. Okay. So, I don't really see much difference there. Let's see if I can find the shadow soft keyword. Okay, so sample shadow map filtered. Does it show up anywhere else? No. This is the only difference. And we give it a shadow map and shadow chord. Okay, so let's see if can we find this function. So yeah, all it does is sample the shadow map at a bunch of different locations. with this. That's like the only difference. Let's see, so does the soft shadow show up here? No. So weird. I don't know. Okay, well, let's see. Let's put that on the back burner. Let me just write a note. So, black is due to shadows. Trying to be. Let's see if we can find what makes the phantom red light, because maybe they're connected and maybe the phantom red light will be easier to fix. Okay, so yeah, still an orange blade there. And yeah, when normally if we move it, it doesn't, well, it's black, but if I turn off soft shadows, yeah, so normally that happens. But I think without soft shadows, it still will have the phantom light. Yeah. So let's turn off additional light shadows and see if that's the culprit. I mean, Unity should support, okay, that's not it, but Unity should support changing lights at different, I mean, at runtime, so. Okay, now if I turn this off, there's just not going to be additional lights. So the grass won't be affected by the red at all. You can see it stays green. So I guess that fixes it, but it doesn't really. Okay, let's see. If I have only vertex lights on. So we'll turn additional lights to per vertex. First off, I'm wondering if I even supported it correctly because it doesn't look like there's any vertex lighting. Let's turn it up really bright. Okay, no, that got it working. At least on this square. Oh, I think it's probably because... Go towards the corner. Yeah, here you can see it. It's just because there's only a point at the corner. Yeah, so it's because it's one big square. Okay, but anyway, so that's fine. Does this... Question is... I don't see the grass isn't turning red though. Ooh, excuse me. Oh yeah, this is Unity's lighting file. Okay, so I do pass the vertex lighting up. Although, oh, okay. And the fragment lit, yeah, the vertex lighting is handled in the grass shader. So, but instance lit should grab it right here. Okay, let's okay, I guess we could do it this way. Let's just output the tint as the vertex lighting. So we can leave that. Sprout tint equals slope 4. So the vertex lighting, and then alpha is 1. Okay, well it's black this time because there's no vertex lighting, so if I move this towards the corner, that should change. Yeah, so you can see. Okay, so the grass is getting vertex lighting. Okay, well it's kind of weird because it only has it's only lit basically if this light is close to this corner. Okay, but it seemed like it wasn't actually affecting the grass, but it could have just been an illusion. Okay, no, it is affecting it for sure. I don't know. Yeah, you can see the red gradient this way for sure. So I'm not sure why Okay. Anyway, guess I just didn't notice it. Okay, so vertex lights are fine. And so if I turn these back on, oh well, okay, well I was trying to check the phantom red light. So how would I do that? So I guess I need to move this red light over to the corner. Okay. And then duplicate this and delete the second one. And then if I move this away, okay, so the phantom red light does not happen during vertex lights, apparently. Let's test. So if I turn this back to pixel lights and I move this and then do the duplicate, delete, does it make a phantom light? Yeah, it does. So it makes a phantom light wherever the duplication happened. I don't know, I feel like this has to be a Unity bug because it's like the light data is not being set. And I loop through additional lights the exact same way that other shaders do, so I don't know why. But I mean, that doesn't really mean much because Unity sets the light data per object, so it's like it doesn't set it correctly on my object. But I don't know why it only happens to custom shaders. I guess maybe we could find out where the light is set, but I feel like that's probably happens in the Unity engine, not even the render pipeline. So that code is probably not available to view. Well, let's see. Gotta be here. Forward lights maybe. Yeah, so here's the light constant buffer. And here's all the additional light stuff. That's addressing the light color. Oh, these are just, I was gonna say why is the light color an integer, but I think these are just like the shader IDs for it. I don't know. It's gonna be difficult to look through here. Okay, well, what I should do, if it doesn't happen in 2021, then that means it is a bug in 2020.3. And I mean, if that's a bug in 2020.3, then so be it. But if it happens in 2021.2, then it is something with my code. And, well, I guess it could still be a Unity bug, but it's not something that's going to be fixed necessarily, so I need to try to figure it out. But I'm glad like before, I had a hard time reproducing it, but now there's a really easy way. All I have to do is turn on soft shadows for the black bug, although why is it not there right now? Oh, because soft shadows aren't on. And then duplicate and destroy this light to get the phantom. So if I delete that light, it still stays red even. What about if I delete this light? Okay, so it goes away then, but that's because there's no lights at all. So what about if I create a new light? Oh, it's really far away. Oh yeah, see the red's back. I wonder if I create a ton of lights, if it will eventually get rid of that red. Okay, so I created a third light. If I undo... Oh yeah, so that time I undid and the red went away. Which means that it got deleted and then recreated. So if I... Is there any way I can get another phantom light to show up? No, it seems to work fine on runtime. It's maybe just stuff that happened during edit time. Okay, anyway, I think yeah, it's 5 o'clock here, which means it's time for me to sign off. But thanks everybody for coming by and watching and chatting. I really do appreciate it. I feel like we got quite a bit done today, and I'm closer than ever to fixing this bug, which does make me happy. I'd really love to be able to fix it for 2020.3, but like I said, I feel like it's a Unity thing because I don't know what in the world I could be doing that would cause this. But it doesn't happen to the default shaders, which has kind of stumped me for a long time. Thanks so random and NTT. Yeah, I think we did pretty good progress. But yeah, I'll be back Friday at the same time, about 3 p.m. US Eastern time. Unity can be a mess sometimes. Yeah, it can. I mean, you know, I love it and it's a great engine, but it does have its bugs and quirks. But I'll put some links in chat if anybody enjoyed the stream and you'd like to connect with me on any other social media. Feel free. And yeah, I'll be back Friday, and we're going to stream for the start of the stream. We're going to stream a game that was made by a viewer for a little bit, so that should be pretty fun. And then we'll probably come back and do some more grass stuff. But yeah, I hope to see you on Friday and have a great couple days. Bye bye.